I think before we start the evening talk, the title is well advertised. Where do I start? And the context is PhD. Let me ask a couple of questions. You can raise your hand if my question is just to give me idea. My first question is, how many of you in this hall are already PhD? Raise your hand. How many of you are PhD in this hall? So I respect you. You are in my community at this point of time. So one PhD, right? Second question, how many of you are pursuing your PhD? Just raise your hand. Excellent. I think you will be the real point of interactions. Let me ask you third question. How many of you are planning to start PhD? Excellent. 65% of the crowd. Just my guesswork. How many of you think that research is an interesting journey? Raise your hand. Now it is houseful. Big thank you. So let us start the journey. I think one precondition, I think if you have your mobile or cell phone, you can say just keep it into the silent. That will definitely give us a good time of investment. Almost my plan is 75 to 80 minutes. So, and I'm sure this house is fully interested. And keep mind open. Now, before we start this journey, the key point of this research journey. See, PhD is a unique degree. And it's not focused on acquiring more knowledge. I think master degree is enough. But PhD is mainly oriented around the research. And one important point to be noted, to become a competent quality researcher is the bottom line. I don't want only simply PhD. Let me tell you, when I was launching my book and we invited Dr. Bakul Dholakia, he gone through entire book and he said, Paresh, one suggestion, you should add one more chapter that is on quality of research. See, outside world is other than India, they have a lot of interest in this country. A lot of foreigners want to know what is India, what is the complexities, how the India people, how the culture, how the business, what are the potentials, big population, right? So outside world has a lot of interest in this country. But there is a contrast. The outside world has very low regards for India research. And especially if you go to the university and look at the PhD thesis, they don't consider this as a doctorate degree. To be honest, I think it's a hard statement, but believe me, with that hard fact, our objective and aim is to give a quality research, to rebrand India image as a quality research country, right? Even I'll tell you, there are two systems in this country on research. If you do a research of a lot of university, they have their different criteria for PhD. Some university follow the British system. Some university follow American system. Now, what is this British system and American system? British system is assuming that once you complete your master, you can do the research. So, couple of university gives you admission based on your master degree. Maybe nowadays you have to pass NET, NET exam, National Eligibility Test, and you get the admission, and you are given one guide, and you have to deal with the guide, and every 3 months there is a progress review. That's the process I'm talking to you guys. But there are other universities, they follow American systems. They strongly believe that research is a specialized subject. You need to pass, once again, couple of subjects. You have to again study the research methodology, research design, statistics, many aspects of research. Two aspects in this country. PhD can be done part-time, full-time, but just I'm giving you a picture. And the university, they believe or follow the American systems, their PhD students are delivering more quality research. That's another finding. Because I'm part of international research referee group, and I come across a lot of incidents, and that's based on my experience. So last line is very important, that quality research. This is the highest education degree which you are doing right now, or you have done it, or you are planning to do it. Second line, suggest and emphasize that you start your research and seek the information. I think I gave you the picture, two system, how you want to go about it. Most favorite slide before I start my detailed talk, where do I start? When I wanted to start my research journey, I had a lot of courage and effort, a lot of energy, but no direction. Even sometimes on my purpose, I was in double mind. Should I do this? Should I do that? So I think the first, important input to all of us, whosoever is doing PhD or whosoever is planning the PhD, very important is purpose and direction. That's very important. Now, evening talk, I think these are the 4 important points I would like to go through. First is, where do I start? Second, very interesting, if you want to start the PhD, you always think which topic I do. So exploring the research topic. Third is also very important question I had in my journey. How do I know that what am I doing is the right thing? The meaning that I am not reinventing the wheel. If I come out with a research and somebody said that this research, everybody knows what is new. And for that, we'll talk on some aspect of literature review, but some ideas are there. Very important point number 4, research mindset. I think that's the precondition, or its requirement, if you are planning to start the research journey, or if you are already on the research. I think this topic will add some new ideas in your knowledge. I think we will first go through the input. My plan is first to give you input on terms of PPT, and one video I want to share with you. But last 15 minutes we'll keep question answer. Even on behalf of AMA, I thank you, but entire AMA is interested to support the researcher. There is a dream, always Mr. Nair shared with me, that we must have a research center here. And that dream, we are working on it. So you are rest assured that you'll be given all the answers, even not today, but maybe later. So where do I start? See the photograph closely. I think you will be out of this picture after 1 hour. When I started journey, I was in this photograph. You just replace my photo. Where do I start? But I think this statement changed my perception. When you are walking on a treadmill, it keeps you walking, but will not take you anywhere. So I think we have to go beyond this gym, right? So let's start the real journey. So let's start. I have given 7 steps. If you go back, it is written below, 7 steps. Get started for research. And once you complete this 7th step, you will have a courage and clear purpose and direction with right effort to produce one research proposal. I think this is a journey before research proposal. Now, what is step number 1? First step is to identify some potential questions which you might want to research. Now, what are these questions, or what are the areas which is top of your mind? Even if you go further in this presentation, you might find it useful at this point of time to note some of the topics and questions which interest you. Make a note of it. This is the pre-step before you enroll for a PhD, that what are these questions or puzzles? Putting all these ideas on a paper, it will help you to progress, because it will give you a talking point. Talking point, what I want to do in the research. So I think this is the first step to identify some of the potential questions or inquiries in your mind. Moving further from first step to second step, note your knowledge, related to each of this question. Do I have a knowledge in this field and the questions I am asking? Very important. Suppose if you are in IT and you are talking the questions on the societal aspect or economic aspect, again introspect, I think that's the area. So again, what is your master area? What is your core domain? That's my point here. So note your knowledge related to each of these questions which you have revised in your diary. Now you can put it in the format like Excel sheet. Organize the second step. Maybe the first column, you just list out all the questions and the issues which is puzzling you. Questions or issues that is puzzling you in your core domain or your area of interest where you want to do the research. That is the first column. Second column, ask a question. What I know about this topic? What I know about this topic? Just to cross-check that you are aligned with your core domain and interest area. And last column, column 3, potential additional resources to address this topic. All the time or many of the time, you will not have enough reference books or the reference material to give a right confident answer that yes. So I think you check with another third question, that potential additional resources to address this topic. So with this handout, you can progress with one more Excel sheet. What are the puzzling issues versus your perspective? Means, if you ask me, if you meet a lot of people and ask the same question, you get different answer. Meaning that everybody has a different perspective. So what is your perspective for this puzzle or the interesting topic you want to do the research? So this is a second step, 2 simple Excel sheet that will give you a clarity. And this point of time, with this Excel sheet, you have to do a multi-dimensional work. The title is multi-dimensional work, meaning that you will be thinking on this puzzle. You will be writing, you will be reading related to that, you will be planning a lot of primary survey or maybe some opinion, and you may be conducting a small study just to endorse that your purpose and direction is right. That's why I started with my favorite slide, that effort and courage is not enough. So this will give you a right purpose and direction. This will save you a lot of energy later. Because I have seen a couple of candidates who do a research and I generally give them some guidance, and after 6 months they come to me, boss, I want to revise the topic. This is happening, believe me. It's not the one example, many example where research candidate starts the journey, even their research proposal is approved. After 6 months, 8 months, they see that no, this is not a right perspective I have taken. Sir, I want to change it. I am changing my hypothesis. I am changing my objective. And that impact your research design and everything. Entire thesis gets changed. And again, it has to go back to the committee to, amend the topic. So it's a process in the university. Everything is a process in the university. So multidimensional work. So third step to get started, read the working papers of the intellectual leaders in your narrowly focused research area. I think after step 2, you have narrowed down that, okay, this is the area I will go for the research. Now you just read the papers of these intellectual leaders in this field. Take the advantage. My point is, take the advantage. This is also aligned with literature review. I will talk later. But take the advantage of these people. They have done a great job. Fourth step, read the best journals selectively. Again, related to your narrow down the topic, relevant to your topic. You will have a lot of questions that where do I get the journals, where do I get this? Answer is in your pocket. Google Scholar will give you a lot of ideas. There are a lot of good university and institute. You can network. You can visit IIM Ahmedabad. You will find they have their journal called Vikalpa. A lot of stuff is available. I think if you ask me, we are lucky people. We are very lucky people that today information is available. But information is available without any analysis. This is a researcher comment like me. There, you can do a research on this, that a lot of information available without analysis. This can be a topic in research. So read the best journal selectively. Even we have a AML library. A lot of library, I think. There is no dearth of good books and journals. Step 5. Go to the seminar in your field. Now, whichever is the field of research you have selected, you have to network that where this type of seminar happening. Because that will be a direct source of ideas. This seminar will give you a lot of ideas. It will be a direct, live, face-to-face source. As a researcher, I am telling you this is a good platform. Attend the seminar. Even when you attend the seminar, you have to check that how they structure their inquiry. If anybody is presenting their research in the seminar, how he or she structure the inquiry on XYZ topic. That is also learning, I am telling you, in research. Even ask a question, is this reasonable and compelling you? Is this reasonable and compelling you? Sometimes it may not be reasonable and compelling. Then you have to ask where they fall short. Means where are the gaps in this articulating inquiry or giving a what if or giving their hypothesis or objective. Just check where are the gaps. It will be a useful input. I am telling you, learning is available in every source. And I think this is a good source and this is a practical source. Here you have all the chance to meet the speaker later and you can also ask that, sir, with all respect, but do you think is it compelling? According to me, this is my perspective. Check your perception. Again, don't conclude, but I always say check your perception because respect all the researchers, they would have done something, right? So step number 5 is very, very important. It's a journey and the first part of the journey, where do I start? 6th step is a very interesting step. In this whole, if you are planning for research and if you are doing research, this is applicable. Talk, talk, talk and write, write, write. Because you have to sell your research, right? Because you have to articulate your research. A lot of people will also give you a feedback on your articulated thoughts. And it's an important part of process. Step 6 is a very, very important part of process. You sell what you want to do and people will ask you that is sellable or not sellable. Research forums, platforms available. So step 6 is also very, very important to get started for this journey. This is very challenging step, 7, because it is the last step, but it is a very challenging step. Question authority. Question the authority. Whosoever is the authority in this topic where you are planning to do a research, with all respect, all politeness, you must question this authority. Don't get carried away. I tell you, one of my research student, in 2012, I think he completed his PhD. And when I met him first time, he gave me a nice statement. He said, sir, if you don't mind, should I tell you one statement? I said, tell me. He said, sir, with all respect to you, but I have a disregard for 2 things. I have disregard for 2 things. And I said, what are these 2 things? He said, number 1 is teacher and number 2 is thought. What a daring, huh? Disregard for 2 things, teacher and thought. But convert politely that whenever you have a big presentation or big research presentation, question the authority. If it is not compelling you, not convincing you, or your perspective is different, so just go and check. There you find some lapses. Because sometimes in research, if you go into the detail, they make a lot of broader claims. Now these broader claims, you can't make the right inferences. Now inference is also a statistical word, but if I give a broader claims, you cannot make a narrow down decisions or a specific decisions. You can only make general decisions. And that is my point. 7 is very important for a researcher. Because when you start your research journey and you do a literature review, means what all research has done in this field, one point of time you find it that lot of people has done lot of research. What do I do? Your job is to found the boundary, and your job starts from that boundary. You are getting my point. Your job is to found the boundary. You have to say that I respect. This is a very good research done. It's part of my literature review. But I want to go beyond this. And that's where you can convince your guide or a research committee to accept your research proposal. Because passing a NET exam, getting the admission in the PhD in university is just start of the job. But the real start of the research journey, the step number 1 is your compelling research proposal. Is it interesting? Do you have a good story? All this stuff matters. And I'm telling you, when you sell your research proposal, your audio and video is very important. If it is not in alignment, they will make out. And the person who review your research proposal, believe me, they may not be knowledgeable in this field, but they know what is right and wrong. They know art of questioning to cross-check that your purpose and direction is clear to you. And if it is not clear to you, they will simply say that audio, video not okay, go back. Revise the proposal, come back after 3 months. I have seen. It's not that arrogance, but this is a practical. I have seen couple of research guys giving this type of feedback. I am not okay. Even the committee of 3, even if one is not okay at the point of research proposal, it will not go. All 3 has to agree. There it is that clarity. I am just talking in context of Pune University. I don't know other university. But point 7, step 7 is very, very important. So, first milestone is over. You have started the journey. Now you convert all this step 1 to 7 into a research proposal. Because somewhere you have to make 18-20 page research proposal to go to the university and tell him that, sir, I am ready. Research proposal, I think there was one exclusive evening talk we delivered at AMA. You can take the DVD. But I just want to give you a short brief of this, how people prepare the research proposal, or a brief format of the research proposal. The first page is a title page, your topic of the research, study of XYZ, whatever. You give the title of your page, your name, and the university where you are applying. Second is the brief introduction of your topic. Suppose if you are doing a research in, let us say, capital goods industry. So you have to write some brief introduction about your topic. Then point number 3 in the research proposal is background and the need of the study. Why you are doing this research? And this is in light of literature review, means you have to tell him that I have first round of the literature review, I find it that nobody has gone beyond this boundary. These are all broad claims, but I am going beyond it. Then again, detailed research, like research questions or your hypothesis, detailed objectives of your research, then how you are going to conduct this research, means your research methodology, then your population and sampling. It's a big topic. I think when you're starting the journey, you have to read a lot of books. Then your data collection methods. I think data is the key aspect of research. I will spend a couple of slides, but data is the key. Data analysis methods, even you will have to learn statistics also. So I will give you some brief today. Again, brief on your study period, that what period you are going to do the research. And again, which period of the data you are going to study. And then rest is your references and whatever annexers. But I think 7th step will convert into a research proposal, and that will be your first catalog to start the journey. People use hypothesis, hypothesis, hypothesis. And to be honest, when I started journey, because I am a corporate guy, and corporate person doing PhD is something like exceptional. During my time, when I did this PhD in 2005, it was exception in my company, the first man registering for PhD. And we people, when we start this journey, and the first word was stuck on my head, hypothesis. And I don't understand what is hypothesis. So I had to spend almost 1 month to understand what is this hypothesis. But I think you are lucky if you read the book. But the simple meaning of hypothesis is suppose, to suppose. Means it's a condition you put forward. And when you put your hypothesis, you have to test it statistically when you are in research. Now, I think some small example of my research. I built up my topic because I am in basically a service business, after sale services of capital goods. And I did a lot of literature review. And I was not able to find the boundaries. A lot of places, I see that there are a lot of gap models available. Even in my MBA, I have studied the service gap model. But finally, through my practical interactions, I was able to find the right hypothesis for my PhD. And my hypothesis, believe me, would have taken more than 8 months. My research proposal was okay, but my hypothesis I had to modify. An example of my hypothesis. The following thought-provoking hypothesis with balanced coverage of research study has been framed to materialize the objective of my research study. The first point, gap do exist between the promises and the motivation of the capital goods service provider and the expectation and perception of the seekers of the services. And second part of the hypothesis is the complaint makers and their recipients both need education and application of the changes that bring them closer rather than face to face. Because when I analyzed my industry before the research, I found that there is a gap. Even when you start selling the capital goods, there is a gap. Even after installing the capital goods, after sale services, we complain each other. And when you go into a detailed aspect of the complaint, it was coming out that customer don't understand the technicality of the product. And other finger was to me as a seller, I am not communicating well. Both need education. And with this aim and objective, this hypothesis was framed, and entire research was conducted for 5 years. And finally, this research was well accepted in a corporate world. We made it applicable to a couple of companies in this line of the business. And we launched a couple of practical programs based on this research. The first practical program was Service Excellence, and where we covered all the gaps, and all these gaps were provided the solution. Because in corporate, we always say that if you are not a part of solution, then you are a problem. And the job of the researcher is to provide solution. And that is where the quality comes. Don't do a research for fancy. Do the research for contribution. That is what this country needs it. And that is the higher goal we should have as a researcher. That what am I contributing to the society or a business or industry? Because if this gets the growth path, the country gets into a positive GDP, right? You know the GDP figure. At the end of the day, the integration of all the good business growth, part of GDP. This is another hypothesis example I am sharing with you. Is my friend, he is a director in one of the MBA college, and he also completed the PhD, and this is an example of his hypothesis. The following two interlinked hypotheses were framed for the research. Both are null. The B school do not perceive their student as their customer, and this results into inadequate attention to their requirements. Customer relationship management in B school is not satisfactory. Again, this is 2006 research hypothesis. Today, all the B school know that students are their customer and they must have a good CRM, right? But useful. It converted into a application. Now, coming back, how do I fix my research topic? Let's go. It's not a mechanical process. So, your expectation I clarify. There can be no rules for finding a thesis. It's not a mechanical. But much depends on your creativity and inspiration and your insightfulness and energy. How much OAD you have is very, very important. OAD, I'll come back. Go further. When you want to explore the research topic, much more important is find the something that is important and it's attracting you, interesting you. That's what I started, right? I said, what is interesting you? There are great papers to be written in almost all fields. You name it, we can write it. You need to settle to an area where you are sufficiently interested and that you don't mind making some investment. Now let me show you one audio video. I think that audio video has two objectives. This lady is a researcher, and the point number 6 I was telling you, talk, 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 write. Just look at this audio video. It's American accent, but I'm sure you will catch it.
How does the news shape the way we see the world? Here's the world based on the way it looks, based on landmass. And here's how news shapes what Americans see. This map This map shows the number of seconds that American network and cable news organizations dedicated to news stories by country in February of 2007, just 1 year ago. Now, this was a month when North Korea agreed to dismantle its nuclear facilities. There was massive flooding in Indonesia. And in Paris, the IPCC released its study confirming man's impact on global warming. The US accounted for 79% of total news coverage. And when we take out the US and look at the remaining 21%, we see a lot of Iraq, that's that big green thing there, and little else. The combined coverage of Russia, China, and India, for example, reached just 1%. When we analyzed all the news stories and removed just one story, here's how the world looked. What was that story? The death of Anna Nicole Smith. This story eclipsed every country except Iraq and received 10 times the coverage of the IPCC report. And this cycle continues. As we all know, Brittany has loomed pretty large lately. So why don't we hear more about the world? One reason is that news networks have reduced the number of their foreign bureaus by half. Aside from one-person ABC mini bureaus in Nairobi, New Delhi, and Mumbai, there are no network news bureaus in all of Africa, India, or South America, places that are home to more than 2 billion people. The reality is that covering Brittany is cheaper. And this lack of global coverage is all the more disturbing when we see where people go for news. Local TV news looms large, and unfortunately only dedicates 12% of its coverage to international news. And what about the web? The most popular news sites don't do much better. Last year, Pew and the Columbia J School analyzed the 14,000 stories that appeared on Google News' front page, and they in fact covered the same 24 news events. Similarly, a study in eContent showed that much of global news from US news creators is recycled stories from the AP wire services and Reuters, and don't put things into a context that people can understand their connection to it. So, if you put it all together, this could help explain why today's college graduates, as well as less educated Americans, know less about the world than their counterparts did 20 years ago. And if you think that it's simply because we are not interested, you would be wrong. In recent years, Americans who say they closely follow global news most of the time grew to over 50%. The real question Is this distorted worldview what we want for Americans in our increasingly interconnected world? I know we can do better, and can we afford not to? Thank you.
This lady is a researcher. You saw the video, right? You are getting the answer. This lady is making a first-hand presentation on American news and telling that a lot of Americans are telling that, you know, they are following international news and they increase from 35% to 52%. But she said that, man, look at it, what this news channel is showing it. They are showing hardly 1% of the global news. They are totally ignoring India, China, and couple of other countries where the population is in billions. So what are we talking as an American? What are we claiming? That we follow the global news? Sorry, we are not following. And there is a lot of scope to improve in this side of the news. Now this is what my point. Listen to this type of people. What they are talking, how they are analyzing, how they are framing their inquiry. She is not concluding anything. She just put one word, we can do much better. Look at the passion of this lady. She is a big researcher, all respect, because she is connected to us as a part of research referee. But 2007, she was on verge of completing her PhD in US. So this is what I encourage you guys. Talk, write. Listen to this type of people. They will give you a right frame. And I always say in my language, you know, B equal to F into bracket I comma E. Behavior is function of individual and environment. Focus on your environment. If you really want to be a researcher, build your environment. And this is a part of the environment. So let's go back to the presentation. Let me share one example that if you want to explore the research topic, let's take marketing example. Again, you have to ask a question. You want to have a sector focus, functional focus, performance focus, or futuristic? This is only a snapshot. You can go again deeper and deeper. Many things, many topics are available to explore, but be clear. And there is a major shift. In beginning I told you, there is a lot of major shift in the research. Theoretical research, the weightage is only if you want to be a good professor and good promotion. Thank you so much. Go for a theoretical research. Your college will be happy that you have one more title of doctor in the college. There are good professors, I respect them, but I have seen this type of the research. So I encourage it should be industry-centric or society-centric research, useful to the future, not keep in the library. Your thesis should be in demand. That is what is a shift I am watching right now. So selecting your topic, select the area which interests you, evaluate what is your core competency, then grasp, understand and interpret, and then prepare your notes. I think this is very important when you are in journey of your topic. You have to be very strong conceptually, because you will find different definition. Even if you go to Wikipedia, Wikipedia will confuse you. When I started my journey in research, capital goods industry, there are 8 definitions on capital goods industry. Then I had to again put my own definition that this is what is the area I am going to study in the capital goods industry. So different definition, various interpretation, many examples. You need to have a deep understanding. Talking is very simple, but I am telling you, once you start this journey, believe me, you will develop the passion. You will develop the passion because this is an interesting area. Some answer to this passion is introspection and interactions. Meet the right people to clarify. Note down their experiences. Start your articles. I saw that audio video, that lady. You start your own article. Then you will be a little bit network with the research community. And then you can interact, talk and clarify. A couple of do's on topic. Keep your diary all the time. Look studious, required for research. Data is gathered at every moment. relevant to your topic. Don't leave a single opportunity for data collection. When I started my journey, I have not left even my peon also. Whatever available, let's collect. Be disciplined to spend specific time in a day. Box file for every chapter. When you start your journey, don't mix. Be clear. Time management is very, very important, but I always say mind management is very, very important. If you manage your mind, your time management will happen. And you must have a passion for information and research. These are a couple of don'ts. I was part of it, so don't worry. I used to keep work pending, but I learned it hard way. But I'm sharing my shortcut. Google is not cut and paste, or any research article is not cut and paste. Don't do that. There are software available today. Once you put your soft copy in CD, it goes to first to the software to check how many and how much is cut and paste. If you have said that, okay, these are the references I have taken and this is what is the authentic official cut and paste, it's okay. I can't say it's zero cut and paste in the thesis. There are. But there are cut and paste with all undertaking and indemnity that I have done this to show that this is a study and I'm going beyond it. So a couple of paragraph or couple of lines may be okay. But don't do cut and paste. Don't deviate from your focus. Don't depend on others. I'm telling you, that's a dangerous area in research. And I had this journey and I had this danger. You believe me, because being a corporate guy, I was not able to cope up on my time management. So I had a couple of people to do the survey, primary survey, data collection and all. I was dependent on them, and then finally I realized that I should be part of it. Don't repeat analysis again and again. I think study theory solid and then do the analysis. Now it's interesting question I was sharing with you. How do I know whatever I'm doing is interesting topic? The first, be aware, interesting is inevitably has subjective aesthetic component. It's subjective and aesthetic. So we cannot expect to find necessary and sufficient condition for an interesting topic for the research. But there are useful indicator. Now what are these useful indicator? First one, what motivated you to select this research topic? Your own story, your own perspective. Which propositions would you say are distinctively your own? Means your own perspective, convincing perspective, which you think that this research will help, this research will contribute, this research may give some paradigm shift. I'm talking heavy word, but important. It's part of your selling and telling truthfully that I'm going to do a quality research. How do you think your work takes forward or develops the literature in this field? Means what all research you do will be a good baseline or a base point for others to quote your name that Dr. Paresh Karia has done this, I am going beyond it. And believe me, every researcher, when they completes their PhD thesis, they have to write one page for the future research. I have done up to this. There are a lot of scope and opportunity to go beyond this, because these are my claims. But this aspect of the research I have not touched. Like if you ask me, in my research, I have openly said that I have not touched the information technology aspect of after sale services in the capital goods industry. So clear indication is a limitation, but scope for the future research. You are getting the point. You have to spell clearly. Will your research contribute to the business or society? Something higher goal, not the degree, but beyond the degree. Upfront or a straight answer for an interesting topic is you. You should have, or you must be able to tell an independent story about why this research topic and why this area of the research is important. That's it. That will give you done. They will give you pass that okay, you are fully passionate, engaged, and you have your own story. And this is story I converted, because when I had to sell my story, this is my story. Over a period of time, researcher believed that, because I did a lot of literature review at the time of my research proposal. But I thought that may be my aims and objective. So what I will do, Means I shared my methodology that I will conduct the detailed research. And if I do this, all probability, I can discover 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Discover means you are going to test your hypothesis. And once you discover, this finding can or may change the way XYZ, your contribution to the knowledge or business or society. And this is a statement formation. I have done it. This is a story, but this story don't come automatic. It must have a solid foundation. The solid foundation, I told you, 7 step. Convert into a research proposal, right? It's a solid foundation and this story will come. So how do I know that what I am doing is new? I am not reinventing the wheel. And there is a separate book I think you have to read exclusively. And the title of the book is Literature Review. I will share the author later. But snapshot of this literature review. First step, you should talk to someone who is working in this area. Some authority, reasonably familiar. And second is, you can look at recent surveys of the literature, that what are the research done. But first, I think very important that someone expert in the field, because I met couple of big guy before my research proposal, and I met the top level. They were not giving me time at my level also, but I network with email, I network with cell phone, I network through their secretary that I want time. Even their 5 minutes is enough because you have only 2 questions or 3 questions. I think this is the interesting part of the research journey. Quality and it gives a compliance with the ethics that you are not doing cut and paste. Review of literature, I think it's a good definition by Wiersma. Wiersma is a big name in research. The review of literature provides the background and the context of the research problem. It should establish the need for the research and indicate that writer is knowledgeable about the area. Whichever topic you identify in this topic, you have to do a lot of study on various research paper written or research done, and that is literature review. And this is very important. Because when you do a literature review, it gives you a confidence that you are not reinventing the wheel. Even it will give you a deeper understanding on your topic. I think these are the 2 key aspects of literature review. Rest you can read, but these are 2 important aspects that it will give you a confidence that you are going beyond the boundary. Means you are not reinventing the wheel. And second is, you will develop a lot of understanding, a deeper understanding. It will help you to sell your story. It will help you to tell the researcher that I am doing the right thing. I have a right cause. Question again, how do I do the research review, but not copy paste? There is a Google Scholar. Google Scholar is a tool to search for scholarly or academic web page links. It provides you a peer review papers, thesis, books, abstracts, and a lot of articles. There are a lot of publishers they put in. And sometimes if you want detail, then again you have to contact the university or a publisher, but you get the abstract from the Google Scholar. So this is the first starting point. Maybe someone has done a PhD, I think many years before, this facility was not available, right? They may be burning the candle late nights. In your case, I think you would have done some little early. This Google Scholar is, I think, recent, right? Few years. There are Google Books search available for this. You can take the advantage. The library catalogs, and this is very important, library catalogs, because which topic you are doing, I don't know, because there are many topics. But there are resources beyond the library and Google search. Nowadays is LinkedIn, Facebook, and even TED.com. I was sharing this audio video. Is TED.com is a very, very interesting website. They download a lot of video, and something interesting to your topic, you must watch that video. That's very interesting. So this is beyond the Google. So I gave a couple of good input. Where do I start? How to explore the research topic? Is this topic interesting? Right? Am I doing the right thing? I am not reinventing the wheel. But now I am going to the last dimension of the evening talk is the research mindset. Do you believe you have a research mindset? Because almost everybody in this hall is somewhere attached with research. Do you believe yes or no? How many of you are sleeping here right now? One is very honest, I am sleeping, right? How many of you are awakened right now? Raise your hand. सब जाग रहे हो ना? चलो देखते हैं आपको अभी. If you have seen this question earlier, I think just you raise your hand, I will say that okay, you have played earlier. You use currency note every day? Yes or no? I have a simple question. How many languages written on this currency note? 13, 1, second answer? 13. Shankit, welcome here. You are in HDFC, you should give me the right answer. एक काम करो यार, करेंसी नोट निकाल के काउंट करो जल्दी. आई वॉन्ट टू नो दैट आपका रिसर्च माइंडसेट उधर काम करता है कि नहीं. जल्दी करेंसी नेट निकाल के देखो हाउ मेनी लैंग्वेजेस आर देयर. 13, 14, 15 और कुछ. कौन बोला 17? आप सही हो, आप वेरीफाई कर लेना घर जाके. सो रिसर्च माइंडसेट में ये चाहिए OAD, ऑब्सेसिव अटेंशन फॉर डिटेल. This is the first criteria for research mindset. And this question don't came automatic in this presentation. This question was asked by my boss, American boss. In Mumbai, one of the hotel, we had a good breakfast in the morning, and he asked me this question: Paresh, how many languages in this currency note of India? And my answer was terrific, only 2. English and Hindi. But there are 15 languages written on the other side of the note. So you are wiser than me. You said 15 first time, I said 2 first time. So total 17, right? But obsessive attention for detail on your research topic is very, very important. And always keep pen below the pillow. Paper, pen below pillow. Because you get a lot of idea. Once you fully engrossed into your research, believe me, you will get a lot of idea when you are on the bed. And that time too conflict. Kal subah likh lenge. But you forget it. So I think this is very important. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. If you look at it, it's very busy slide. Research skill, research environment, research management, personal effectiveness, communication skill, networking and team building, career management. This presentation slide I will give you, but I would like to highlight, if you really want to have a good research mindset, develop the problem solving skill, original thinking, your discipline knowledge, research methods, you have to read the books, critical analysis. I will talk further on this critical analysis. Research environment is your topic. What is the research context? Research justification. Information management. You must be IT savvy, computer savvy. Very, very important. Because you are going for PhD, and now the research demands a lot of data analysis. Personal effectiveness, only one point I will highlight, willingness to learn. Communication skill, critical arguments, very important. And presentation skills. Networking is also important in this journey. And finally, promoting yourself. Because you have to build your brand. You are entering into a research field, don't get lost. I will tell you, research is a lonely journey, that is number one. You will find very few researchers in this country. If you want to see the statistics, type the Google, you will know that how many PhD students in this country. And you will find a stunning figures. So you have to make your own brand, right? Now, when I say critical analysis and mindset, so are you thinking like when you look at any data or events or experiments? Now, what is my question? You think like y equal to fx. You studied in the mathematics, right? Y is dependent, x is independent. Y is effect, or you can say output, and x is the input. You have to think y equal to fx everywhere, because now you are starting this journey, it's part of your mindset. Everything is y equal to fx. What all effect you have today, it's basically due to some input. And all these inputs are independent variables. Y is dependent. So you have to think y equal to fx. I'm just giving you a brief in the evening. You must have one Excel sheet always in your pocket, segregating every event, that what is not, where is not, how big is not. You must segregate, because that is a research mindset. In the context of your research topic, take it as a tips of iceberg. Go below that. The tips of iceberg is hardly 2 to 3% of the effect. But there are a lot of hidden and there are a lot of non-visible. Because this particular slide is from the quality, but it gives me a thought that this is a research mindset. Always research mindset question time series. What is happening over a period of time? What is average? What is maximum? What is minimum? Is there any correlation? Is there any regression? What is the distribution of this data? Is there any gap? Is there any theory of constraint? TOC means, is there any theory of constraint? If and then, what if? Can? What is it? What is limiting? What is missing? What is probability? ये minimum question पूछना है to build your mindset. Don't get worried. Look at this presentation hard copy later. But this should be a part of your vocabulary to build your research mindset. I don't expect everything you will pick up right now. But this is the roadmap I am sharing with you. These are the questions in my mindset. And believe me, when you are a good researcher, you can be a good businessman. You can be a good businessman. Because you will ask all these questions, right? What is not? What is missing? What if? Correlation, regression, time series. Is there any theory of constraint? This will help you. Not only for PhD, but for business also. It will improve your processes also. If you have some problem in the business processes, it will help you. But believe me, for research journey, this is the last topic, data. Without data, the research is not complete. So it's a major role player. It's playing right now in front of you, right? You must be very clear what type of data. Sources, primary sources, secondary sources. I'm sure you will study in your research journey. Primary, basically you collect through a personal interview, survey, observations, or you do some experimentation. Secondary data is all your Google search or public domain, whatever is data available you collect, that is called secondary data, meaning that data collected by others. It is the past data, right? Again, you have to be very clear what type of data you are talking, qualitative, quantitative. Again, in quantitative data, there are two types, discrete and continuous. Discrete means counted items, continuous means measured items. So, आपको इतना clarity start of the journey होना चाहिए. Why I am sharing this simple slides? Because this is a very good input for research proposal. What type of data you are going to talk, you should know. Because I always believe first impression is an everlasting impression. So you have to study all this. When I say data, continuous and discrete, some example. Visible, right? What data I am talking. It's based on data appearance. Again, data points. Where are you going to collect this data? Are you going to collect random, uniform, clustered? Because it has a relation with your inferences. Because data collection, you analyze it, and after analysis, you make some inferences to support your hypothesis or puzzling questions or objectives. And how to handle a huge set of data? If you look at below, there is a question. You will be handling a huge set of data. You don't know. You know this gentleman? What is this picture? So you use this laptop or computer for the research because it does three tasks: data management, data analysis, and you can make the inferences from the analysis. Data management means you have to collect the data, you have to make the data entry, arrangement and processing. Data analysis, choice of your analysis, again statistical analysis, and make the inferences from this analysis to make the decision. There are software available for the data management and data analysis. Data management, simple, I think you are using every day. Excel sheet, everybody use Excel sheet, right? Microsoft Excel. So everybody knows it. This is a snapshot of Excel sheet if you have not seen. But data analysis is very important. I think you will have to take small workshop on the way to your journey for a research on a data analysis software, whichever software you use it. A lot of software available, QuickStart, Minitape, StatSoft, all these softwares are available. But what is hot in the market most widely? SPSS, Minitab and SAS. And this is a snapshot of the screen. If you use SPSS, it has two windows, input window and output window. If you look at this data view and variable view. And I encourage you, if you are starting your journey, learn this SPSS. You can download the free software for 1 month. There are tutorials and be expert. Another software in this analysis is Minitab. I think generally the Six Sigma Black Belt and all these people use this, but we can use it in the research also. Here also you go to minitab.com, download the free software. 1 month I am sure with the tutorials and help menu, you will be okay. So ultimate aim of this data analysis is to data representation using graphics, distributions, hypothesis testing, all this statistical analysis, this data is crucial. And why I'm giving you an evening talk, this quick start on the data and software, because it gives you a clear map that how do I go about it. So my point is very clear, play with the data, always. It's part of your research journey. Be familiar with all the options in software. This line number 3 is very, very important. And execute the case study on the tools. In software, there are tools given and case study given. Because very few people expert available today to teach you on this software analysis tools. Sometimes, even the person who is teaching, he know how to handle the software, but he don't know the detailed meaning of ANOVA or JET test. You got my point. So you have to do a lot of hard work. So final, I want to sum up before question answer. There are good books available. I have put the reference, Developing Effective Research Proposal, Case Study Research. Even you can do a case study research. Nowadays, I think IIM Ahmedabad is encouraging more of a case study PhD. Developing research questions, doing a literature review. Couple of books are available. There are a lot of useful inputs at AMA. I think a lot of evening talk we have delivered here. And we had a very encouraging feedback during all the talk. I think this is a snapshot of the participants. I think the noble objective behind this evening talk is to support the researcher. No material gain or commercial part behind it, but very noble objective to give you a support. Final 2-3 slides. Being a researcher, I think the very important part is identify the research problem. Ability to create a bigger picture. And formulating a problem properly is half the PhD. If you formulate the problem properly, your half PhD is over. I think majority time goes in hypothesis, building your hypothesis. I think whosoever is doing the research, they will endorse me. Formulating the proper problem is a big challenge. So last point in evening talk, PhD thesis, my journey and learning experience. It gives learning more about your discipline. You can learn more about writing to an audience, again full of specialists, because your topic they know. You will be able to organize a large chunk of information, and this is a journey. It will take you from tourist to a native land. Maybe when you start the journey, you feel like you are tourist. But over a period, you will be wow. You will develop your passion. But mind well, I think integrity is very important. Always tell the truth in the research. Because I told you, when I was reading one of the interview of Narayan Murthy, recent interview, and he was asked a question, what is concerning you about this country? His upfront answer was credibility. Credibility has a link with the integrity. So tell the truth. I think we Indians should take a lead. But research, tell the truth. If you tell a lie, people will catch you. And don't do the research for degree, please. I think that's my statement always. If you're doing PhD for degree, I don't encourage. This I told you. Work on your environment. Environment will shape you for a good research journey. You as an individual, I respect you. That's why you are here, right? You are interested. 3 big thank you to all of you. I think I can say hall is full. Big 3 thank you. And now I am open for any question. I will try my best.